Hello, we've been sent some questions from our readers, and so I'm going to attempt to answer them. And the first question here is, are the Twisted Dark, theatrics, and the theory stories all part of one big TPub universe? I'm sure I spotted images in all three of these that are extremely similar either by design or coincidence. That's by a username called @Gobshite. It's a good question. Twisted Dark, the theory, and Twisted Fantasy are all in the same Twisted universe, and it's actually meant to be a secret, so I'm not sure why I'm answering this question, but yes, they are all connected. It'll all be revealed towards the end. But the other titles we have, all the other things we have, like Theatrics, Turncoat, Tabitha, they're all standalones and not connected. I think that if a universe gets too big, it becomes a bit unwieldy, but we have the Twisted series are Twisted Dark, Twisted Sci-Fi, and Twisted Fantasy. Cool. Next question. If you, Neil, me, could have an afternoon tea chat with any of the characters from the Twisted Dark universe, who would it be, and what would you talk about? That's from Karai Sensei. Wow, what a good question. Okay, my favorite character is Amy. We've only seen her in one story. It's my favorite story so far, which is for Twisted Dark, which is where she with the girl with the scissors. So no spoilers. There's a lot more of her coming. I have a whole book stuff written of her. But I don't think I'd like to have tea with her. She might kill me. I'd be scared meeting her, frankly. I think I'd go for Liam, actually. So Liam is the torturer, ex British Secret Service. The reason is he's in conflict with himself a lot on many things, and it seems odd me saying this because I wrote the character, but I always justify his actions, but he does contradict himself sometimes. So I always feel there's another layer beneath him, and so I'd like to just talk to him about himself. Maybe just to get him straight in my head. Maybe I shouldn't be answering these questions. I think, giving my weaknesses. Question 3. Given your talented story writing abilities, thank you. What regrets have you had that you put into original story? Did it relieve you of your regret that you got to live vicariously through this character's decisions? And that's from @Legitog. Well, thanks for the kind words. These are really good questions. Okay, I do sometimes write about things that I've experienced in my life. Normally things that have had provoked an extreme reaction that made me angry or embarrassed or sad. But I don't know if I put any of my regrets into an actual story. Maybe I should. Because everyone has regrets and questions the life choices they make. But I do tend to think that what's done is done, and just make better choices going forward. Regret doesn't really help. Having said all that, this has really made me think, and I'll see if I can remember something that I really do regret and see if I can put that into a story. That's a really good idea. Okay, next question. What writers have inspired you? And why did you approach Twisted Dark with a Twilight Zone type of one-off stories, but in an expanded universe? This is by Zach7. Well, I love good writers. When I find a writer I really like, I'll start buying all their books to consume everything. I'm a fan of many of them, but I don't know if they inspire me so much, which may sound odd. Because a lot of other people say they draw inspiration from this, this, and this, but if I do it, I think it's subconscious. Most of what inspires me, honestly, is interesting facts or bizarre motivations or unusual conversations that people have. These are all things that make me think, and I love being made to think. So that's about inspiration. As for why do I make it like a Twisted Twilight Zone type one-off stories? Well, first of all, they're not one-off stories. They all do connect for a reason. But I like stories that make me think, so I wanted to write stuff that I would like to read myself, I think. And I wanted to make them slightly dark, because Twisted Dark's the first thing I ever wrote, and I was terrified of being boring. So I thought if I made them quite, with a twist ending and quite dark, they'd be more likely to be compelling to read. That was it. You kind of throw me with this question. I'm not sure if I've answered that well. Raymond, if I need to re-record this one, tell me, okay? All right, next question. When do we get to read Amputation Capital? Very excited for it. That's from Turner. Great. That was co-written by, actually, the original concept was from Raymond Tyler. It's coming along nicely, and it'll be ready before the end of the year. All I can say, it's a 6-story, and for that, blame Raymond. Okay, very good questions. I was surprised how good they were, actually. Yeah, if you have any more, let me know. Thanks, guys.